Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. It's Mark here, and we've got a brand new episode for you today. Spring finally has arrived, the snow melted away, and we were more than ready to start building our walls of our house. My amazing wife took care of ordering the bricks from our local supplier, and as always, everything showed up right on time. The first step was planning the unloading. I figured the smartest move was to drop as many pallets as possible right into the middle of the house. Less walking back and forth with the bricks means more energy for the actual building. The only thing that really mattered at this stage was making sure no pallets ended up in the middle of the house or across the diagonals, since I still needed the space to double check the corner measurements before laying the first bricks. We ordered a total of 12 pallets of bricks, but the truck could only carry 8 at a time. The driver had to make a second trip, and I had an hour to wait for him. When it comes to the bricks, we went with sawdust. It's a local product, and we really want to stick with local materials whenever we can. While I was waiting for the rest of the delivery, I kept busy myself by moving all the 17 bags of glue into the container. Have to keep things organized, and they have to stay dry as well. About an hour later, the second delivery arrived with the remaining 4 pallets of bricks, which were dropped off right where we needed them. It felt amazing to see all the materials finally arriving and being set down on the land. It was the first real sign that things were starting to happen here, that soon our house would begin to rise. We couldn't be more excited. A few days before the delivery, we needed to pick up a few more things to get ready for the actual work, so we visited a couple of local suppliers. Before laying any bricks, you need insulation, all under the walls to make sure they don't soak up the water from the foundation, which could cause problems later on. We got a few bitumen sheets, also called papa in Poland, but they were way too big, so we had to cut them off in half. At this stage, you don't cover the whole house space with them, only under the walls. Why? Because during the construction, they will almost certainly get damaged, so it's better to lay them properly later on, once the final layer of concrete is being poured. We cut the sheets into roughly 50 cm wide stripes and rolled them back up, ready for the next steps. We also bought a gas torch because the sheets need to be slightly melted to stick to the ground and seal the foundation properly. Neither my wife nor I had used torch like this before, so we were a bit nervous. But after a bit of practice, we managed to figure it out together. We also picked up a bucket of Abyssal R, which is a kind of liquid tar product. Pretty much the same stuff I used earlier to coat the fence posts. The plan was to add an extra layer of it under the bitumen sheets before all the walls goes up. Just a bit of more protection. The first thing I had to do was give the surface a good clean with a brush. Once that was done, I grabbed the roller and started applying the Abyssal. I went around the edges of the house, brushing off the dust and covering everything with a layer of tar. It turned out to be a surprisingly relaxing job, and I actually really enjoyed doing it. Later on, I even attached a long stick to the roller, so I didn't have to keep bending down. We found out that this product needs time to cure before using the torch on it, so we had to wait a day for it. If you rush it, it can catch fire, but once it's cured, it's perfectly safe. I hadn't thought of that actually, so I'm really glad she did. An hour later, the whole house space was ready. The next day, slowly but steadily, we began applying the bitumen sheet around the edge of the house. At first, I just laid it in place, trying to figure it out the best way to get it done. I had seen others to do it before, but this was my first time trying it myself. As we started, I realized the key was finding the right balance, melting the material enough so it stuck and sealed properly, but not so much that it burned through. My wife joined the bitumen laying crew, and together we tried different methods to figure it out the fastest way to get it done. Whenever two sheets meet, it's important to leave a 10-15 cm overlap, and that's exactly what I did. I also had a spare piece of OSB, which I used underneath the sheet while melting it. Holding the bitumen sheet by hand had already proven risky. I even burned myself a little before, nothing serious though. So this way was much safer. Just a heads up if you're doing something similar. Later, I even used a stick to roll the sheet, and that turned out to be probably the safest and most effective method. It wasn't perfect. I sometimes melted a bit more than I should have. Still, I already had liquid waterproofing underneath the bitumen sheets, which means double protection against water coming up. It did make things a bit more expensive, slightly, and I'm pretty sure the sheets alone would have been enough, but I just wanted to play it safe here. In my opinion, it was worth spending a little extra money here, rather than risking or making a mistake here and later having issues with the walls soaking up all the water. I already had plenty of pipes in place for sewage and water, so I had to cut around them and overlap the sheets in the same way. We wrapped it up in just a few hours and it turned out great. The only tricky part was working around the pipes, so my wife grabbed the sheet of OSB to shield them while I was using the torch. That's it for this round. See you in 2 weeks with a new update. Thanks for watching, Mark is out, peace.